At Crest Hill Primary, the quietest figure was often the one who left the deepest impression. Mr. Daniel Lee had spent years pushing his broom down the long corridors, polishing windows until they gleamed, and scrubbing chalk dust from desks. To most, he was simply the school janitor. But behind his gentle smile lived a secret hunger, the burning desire to study. At 50 years old, Daniel still carried a question that would not leave him. What could my life become if I had the chance to learn? Every day, as he swept the classrooms, he watched the children doodle on their notebooks, whisper through lessons, and roll their eyes at homework. He wanted to shake them and say, "Don't you see what a gift you have?" But instead, he kept sweeping, quietly aching for what he had missed. One afternoon, when the school was nearly empty, Daniel lingered in a grade 7 classroom. The chalkboard was clean, its dark surface waiting like an invitation. Tentatively, he picked up a piece of chalk. His hands trembled as he began writing simple equations. 2 plus 2 equals 4, 3 times 5 equals 15, square root 16 equals? For him, these weren't just sums, they were steps toward a dream. He whispered the numbers, working them out slowly, smiling when he got them right. Suddenly, a voice startled him. "Mr. Lee?" He turned. It was Principal Troy, watching from the doorway. The chalk slipped from Daniel's hand. "I'm sorry, sir," Daniel stammered. I was only practicing." The principal stepped closer, curious. "Practicing what?" "Mathematics," Daniel admitted softly. "I never finished school. But I want to try again. Even now. I believe it's not too late." The room was silent for a moment. Then, instead of reprimand, came a smile. "Daniel, how far did you get with your schooling?" "Only to grade 8, Daniel said, his eyes lowered. Principal Troy folded his arms, thoughtful. "And if you had the chance, I'd study hard, sir. As hard as I could. I've always dreamed, maybe even to be a dentist one day." The principal nodded slowly. "Then let's see how we can help you." The journey was anything but easy. When the children discovered Mr. Lee's secret, many laughed. They teased him when they saw him bent over textbooks, asking questions about algebra or biology. Some even mocked him when he stumbled over English essays. But Daniel never stopped. He studied late into the night after finishing his janitorial rounds. He repeated subjects until he understood them. He showed up for every exam, no matter how much fear tightened his chest. Years passed. Slowly, mockery turned to respect. Some children even began sitting with him after school, showing him shortcuts to solve equations. They began to see him not just as the janitor, but as an example of grit. At 62, Daniel walked across a graduation stage, cap and gown fitting awkwardly over his broad frame. In his hands, he held not a broom but a certificate in dentistry. His smile was brighter than any polished window he had ever cleaned. The audience erupted in applause. Among them sat Principal Troy, proud beyond words. And as Daniel shook hands with the dean, he whispered a prayer of thanks, not just for the opportunity, but for the years of sweeping floors that had taught him patience, humility, and perseverance. For the man who once mopped classrooms, the world was now his clinic. And his story whispered a truth to every ear that heard it: it is never too late to begin.